All right, we've got our brush, we've got our refined paint layer, and we have an area where we feel it's somewhat the level of finish we want to get to, at least to start out. And so that can give us renewed energy and a lot of focus as to what we need to bring to other parts of it. You just try to keep that energy going as you attack it. I need to work away from some of these areas I've worked the most and get into some of these areas I haven't treated. But the more I build, the more I can draw on colors that I have, get a sense of the different values. You can see how my colors have changed a lot from my base color because they all start to average together once you start blending them. Even though I'm not going for photorealism, colors will naturally kind of, when they mix together, just average themselves out. Something a little bit more nuanced than your base color alone. I think that can be a good thing. And then as we keep using option, we're stealing from those more nuanced colors. And then those in turn are layered up on more and more. So sophisticated, this digital painting. So much more time consuming than digital coloring. Imagine if comic books were painted this way. It'd just take forever. But the same principles of kind of a base color, like a flat local color, and then duotone shadows and highlights on the top, that can be applied here. But we just jump right to kind of full spectrum. And within all the different uses of colors and layers, we're kind of thinking of lighting in a secondary way, but we don't have the sharp edges of the line art to contain everything. There's pluses and negatives to that. I never try to use black. I'm always trying to mix that out of other colors. Excuse me. But it can be really good to put down a dark and then react to it with your colors around it and how you mix. And again, my hand's just hovering over option, stealing colors for my palette all the time. Working out from them. I think a lot of people, when they digitally paint, squint a lot because it helps them see the values, the lights and darks. And it helps soften the edges of all of these paint strokes. And we talked last class how you can use the smudge tool to soften edges too, but I just want to get all that paint down first. Because all these paint strokes are a lot for Photo P to keep up with, it's good to hit Control S every once in a while, let it save. And then if necessary, if your paintbrush starts to slow down, you can save and then reload Photo P, even quit your browser to kind of clear its cache memory and go from there. Take care. So digital paintings, especially portraits in my experience, look terrible for a long time and then start to snap together. First in little places and then as a whole. But it just takes a lot of patience, a lot of this working it up, and starting to think of the whole picture, rather than just the details. So to me, it's absolutely essential to have at least 2 layers of paint. And as long as you have a base layer and a refined paint layer, you can reap a lot of these advantages. But if you try to do it all on just one layer, you'll be erasing as many pixels as you're creating with each stroke. And so it's all about layering. It kind of goes back to those initial compositing projects and understanding the advantage of different layers. The options it gives you, the subtlety it gives you, the opportunity for blending that opacity can give you when used on layers. And for practicing this, it's good to pick subject matter that you admire or that you don't mind looking at for a long period of time, because there's a lot of careful and energetic observation that this requires. Now, if you ever find yourself getting seduced into doing things like eyelashes, then you know you're not tackling it all together. You know, you want to focus on the general first before you get into the specific. I'm never going to have enough time to work on this to get into her eyelashes. And I just have to remind myself, I haven't even touched the ear yet, you know. That all of it matters for the finish. And I'm saving the glasses to the end, but I might never get to those either. But on each step, the goal is to try to bring it to a level of finish that works. So I got to bring everything else up to the level of the face now. I got to bring the various parts of the face up to the level of the more finished parts of the face, in order for it to have that kind of unified finish. Now for digital honors, you guys are working on your title flags and your dynamic posters with your characters. And you can use any kind of digital techniques you want to create those dynamic poses, though your title flag needs to be kind of a clear type design. But when you put the poster together with your title flag, you want it all to have kind of a unifying finish as well. Otherwise, the audience is just left looking at the thing that looks the least finished, the least refined. You can use spacebar to move around as you're zoomed in.